Lucy Williamson herself, she was begging me for an interview. The BBC were begging me for an interview. I don't need any of these people. They don't just want you to disappear from the internet. They want you to disappear from the internet in a cloud of shame. They have to shame you, which is why they chose the crimes they did for me, and it's why they usually choose the crimes they choose, because it's heinous. They want to shame you, and they want you to disappear with your head facing the ground and never pop up again.
After an interview with Andrew Tate on the PBD Podcast, host Patrick Bet-David has announced the release of another episode following the controversial influencer's release from prison. Ever since Andrew Tate's release from prison in Romania, the top G has managed to acquire a lot more followers. The controversial star influencer, along with his brother, has displayed no signs of stopping ever since he gained momentum. Tate has found himself with an ever-growing army of followers that are loyal to his brand. Along with fans, they also have a significant number of people who hate their ideology. Many have protested and have succeeded in getting Tate banned from social media platforms. Due to the controversial nature of Tate, he was interviewed by many big news channels. All of his interviews have gained millions of views across social media platforms and earned him followers and haters alike. His interview with entrepreneur and multimillionaire Patrick Bet-David was one of the interviews that managed to create ripples in the community. Patrick Bet-David is an entrepreneur who hosts the PBD Podcast and runs the Valuetainment channel on YouTube. After the release of Andrew and Tristan Tate from Romanian prison, Patrick Bet-David and the Valuetainment team traveled to Romania to interview Andrew Tate last week, and it was unlike any Andrew Tate interview ever conducted. The video was released, and this interview is now breaking the internet. After Andrew Tate's fiery interview with BBC, according to the latest video on his Valuetainment channel, David has claimed that he finished recording over 12 hours of content with the Tate brothers. The content is split into the official interview and some behind the scenes. His last interview with Andrew Tate was nearly 5 hours long. However, this time around, Patrick has announced that they have 7 hours worth of content from Andrew Tate's interview alone. Patrick and his team also have 1.5 hours of additional interview footage with Tristan Tate. During the interview, Patrick explored all kinds of topics. They talked about Romania, BBC, and his time in the dungeon with no access to his phone for 92 days and a lot more. Clearly, so much content cannot be crammed into one video, which is why the PBD Podcast has decided to release it in 2 separate videos. They will also add a separate Tristan Tate interview to their channel very soon. Patrick has gone to state, and the interview is 10 times more wild and absolutely detested by the BBC. So as we all know, when Andrew Tate was in jail, there were a lot of rumors about him having lung cancer, which was a crazy topic all over the world at the time. And finally, in the recent interview he did with PBD, he explained exactly what happened.
What about these stories that came out that you've got cancer and lung cancer and then you were poisoned and these matrix attacks?
Yeah, so
are you planting these stories?
No.
Are they making these things up?
No, so the cancer thing is interesting because by Romanian law, every 30 days to extend the arrest, there has to be new information. They can't extend the arrest based on the previous information. So they put together all this garbage case and arrested me for 30 days. To keep me another 30 days, they have to find something during that 30-day arrest period to keep me for the second month. But of course, there's nothing to find. So when I was having medical scans in Dubai, a scar, a dark spot was identified on my lung. And I had follow-up tests booked for February. So after the first 30 days, I called up my PA and she said, "Are you coming to Dubai?" I said, "Well, yeah, if they let me go at the end of these 30 days, I'll come to Dubai for my medical tests." They took that conversation and shown it and used it in court, saying I'm trying to flee the country and trying to escape the judicial system as motivation for the second month's arrest. And the judge agreed and locked me in jail because I said that I would go to a medical appointment if I was free.
But before starting out, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more recent updates. Andrew explains why he agreed to do the BBC interview last week, how they missiled him, and the no. One reason, he is afraid of the BBC and the mainstream media. He reveals how BBC kept begging him for an interview during prison.
Lucy Williamson herself, she was begging me for an interview. The BBC were begging me for an interview. I don't need any of these people. The only reason I even sat down with the BBC is because they were begging me. I can go and just say my own words and get plenty of views, right? But the whole time I was in jail, they're begging me for an interview. Can we speak to him on the phone? Maybe you can give an interview from jail. Can we have an interview? Please, 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 please. And I was saying, why do I want to talk to the BBC? And the BBC were saying, no, we don't want to do a hit piece. We want to come across, we want to be impartial.
This is what they're telling
This is what they're telling me. We want to be impartial. We believe there's a side of the story that hasn't been told. We're really interested in some of the, let's say, what's the word? I don't want to get this wrong. Inconsistencies in the Romanian justice system. We're very interested in his side of the story. There's been enough hit pieces. We want to tell the other side. We want to hear Andrew Tate's story.
He was always discussing his life after jail, and it's absolutely insane.
I think I'm very happy. Every single podcast I did previous to this, I hammered the point home and I made it very clear that they had the intention of trying to put me in jail. I said, there's 3 lives. They try and cancel you and slander you and destroy your name. They don't just want you to disappear from the internet. They want you to disappear from the internet in a cloud of shame. They have to shame you, which is why they chose the crimes they did for me, and it's why they usually choose the crimes they choose, because it's heinous. They want to shame you, and they want you to disappear with your head facing the ground and never pop up again. And then the second time, the second life, which I described, is they try and put you in jail for no reason. Here we are in the current scenario. I knew it was going to happen. And the third one is they put a bullet in your head. So we're going to have to see how the second life plays out. And yeah, I mean, when this is all over and I win the court case and I get the not guilty, I won't be smiling. I'll be walking out the courtroom with my head on a swivel. That's the kind of life I'm living now. I'm going to be thinking, oh, okay, so their second attempt failed. Now what?
In this interview, it is also stated that good people always step up against evil, and why he'll never give up. He said,
I do believe that in history it's always been the same. I believe it's always been a select group of good men who are up against evil, and I think they've always been outnumbered, and it's always been difficult, and they've always suffered. All of them. When I was in jail, the amount of letters I got from people, and it was just names of, and I'm not comparing myself to these people, this is the letters I got of Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, everyone who was unjustly imprisoned. Everyone's gone to jail. Because when you stand up for something, they end up trying to put you in jail. When you're a good person trying to do good, the evil, the matrix as a whole, is going to try and throw you in jail. That's what they do. That's the punishment for it.
During this interview, they also discussed why Andrew Tate now identifies as woman.
I'm a woman, right? You do that. And you've left it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Because I am. You don't believe me?
You're a woman?
Are you misgendering me?
I have to choose to agree with you, right?
My pronouns are she, her. No, but the level of, it's all a joke, right?
Andrew also discusses his religious journey over the last decade in great depth. He stated,
what's been your evolution of your faith, and where are you at today?
Yeah, I think Newton's, it's third law, equal and opposite force, what you just said there is absolutely true. There has to be equal and opposite force to all the evil in the world. And that the equal and opposite force to all that evil has to be God. I said to the atheists, I said, let's say there was 2 islands. You're shipwrecked, right? And there's 2 islands. Both of them are full of savages. On one island, you and your friend are shipwrecked. On one island, your friend goes and he crashes and they kill him and they eat him. And you go to another island and they want to kill you and eat you, but they don't because it's against their religion. Mm-hmm. Did God save your life? I was raised Christian. I live in a Christian nation. Romania is actually, I think, the second or third most Christian country on earth. It's a very Christian country here. It's churches everywhere. They strongly believe. And that's where I began my journey, but I always had a very healthy respect for Islam because I understand that to a degree, to have a religion at all, you have to have an intolerance, to a degree. If you're a religion which is tolerant of everything, then you don't have to earn God's respect. You can be a bad person and do bad things. God loves me, so it's fine. Well, no, it's not, because that's not the point of the religion. So how do you judge the success of a religion? Well, I like to think the best way to judge the success of a religion is how successful is it at fighting evil? How successful is it at preserving the morality of a population in X parameter, in X geographical area? So when you look at it from that way, you can't say that Islam isn't the most successful religion on earth. It's the most successful in regards to opposing evil. It's the most successful in regards to opposing its differing viewpoints. It's the most successful in regards to having people act within the limits and the confines of what it finds to be moral and good to God. It's the most adhered to. It's the most feared. It's the most respected in most forms. And then also I'd like to think...
I would say it's the most feared.
Yeah, it's the most feared. I was raised Christian, and Muslims as a whole, we have no problems with Christians. None at all. I don't want anyone to think I'm anti-Christian, like I dislike Christians. We don't have a problem with Christians. We believe in a lot of the same things. We believe in Jesus. We put more respect on the name of Jesus than most Christians do. I just don't like the idea of people saying they're a Christian and saying, but because I'm a Christian, I can do whatever I want and throw all the rules away and none of it matters. Because once you have that level of tolerance, you no longer have a religion. Islam seems to be the last religion left with parameters. If you don't have parameters, you don't have a religion at all. So the closer I found myself to God, the closer I found myself to Islam. That's just how it ended.
Throughout the interview, Andrew Tate exudes a sense of unwavering positivity, approaching each topic with an open mind and offering a unique perspective. His willingness to address controversial subjects head-on provides viewers with a deeper understanding of his character and the experiences that have shaped him. That's all for this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for more recent updates. Thanks for watching.